lid when otherwise it's just open.
What's up, guys? Sorry about all the delays that we had here tonight. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere at the Handy Happiness Hotel. I am here tonight with, of course, Mr. Scott Handy, Mr. Brian Tyler, and then we have other members. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Steve will chat and trying to Maryland, don't worry. Brandon.
Just Brandon.
Just Brandon.
And then, of course, Miss Courtney. So we're actually up here in Hurlock, Maryland, on our trip. Me and Haley are traveling for the week right before we get to Monsters Ball, and had to make the stop in here so we could enjoy some time with our Maryland, Delaware family. How's it going, guys?
Man, this has been awesome. I'm glad you guys made the safe trip up. Glad you got to see Edgar Allan Poe's cemetery and the final resting place. And so pretty cool that you guys made that trip up.
So I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of fun getting to go out there and check that out. And I've been past Baltimore a few times, but I've never actually stopped. So that was really intriguing for us. But getting over here was kind of our after we got into Baltimore right around 1, and we wanted to spend a little bit of time there. Got to go to Jimmy's World Famous Seafood Restaurant, and that was pretty cool. But our primary goal was to get here because we wanted to be able to spend time with our family outside of the craziness that's going to be Monsters Ball, which is next weekend, guys. If you haven't gotten your tickets, I know they're currently sold out. Is that what I've been hearing?
Is the regular floor sold out? I know second and third level are sold out, but is the general sold out?
I don't think so.
I don't think the general. Yeah, I know that some of the VIPs and whatnot is gone.
The top tier and second tier are sold out. The general admission is not. I think they said it holds up to 400 people.
So if you guys have not picked up yet, grab your general admission. Please get out. This is going to be a Monsters Ball to remember. 80s theme. I know I've got my costume ready. What about you guys?
I have mine. I'm thankful enough that Kristen has decided to, instead of going for the Cyndi Lauper Madonna that everybody else is doing, she has decided to be a duo with me. It took a little bit of convincing, but she's going to join me in my costume, which I'm not sharing any details.
Joining you in your costume?
She will join me in my costume.
I'm thinking like the old school horse now. Like,
is that an 80s thing?
So she's gonna be in the front, and he's gonna be the horse's ass. And
well, apparently, this is if you saw last week's episode, Brandon and Ray might have made some discussion about what a goatee beard looks like.
And if you don't know, it looks like an upside down penis pancake. And if you have questions, go to Brandon Barnes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this has something to do with Brandon.
It has everything to do with Brandon.
Yep. Did he try to get you guys all to wear Speedos for the interview?
No, he didn't.
The picture came up.
Yeah.
2 pictures. The Jason Sealand flying picture showed up with
Oaks, probably one of the
Oaks holding his nose.
Yeah. That was probably one of the coolest Superman shots.
Trying to get me to join him with the Speedo.
You do you, boo.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do it, I'll do it.
It's just way too much sexy for everybody to handle.
It really is.
There's only so much eye bleach you're allowed to have in before it gets hazardous material level. So as you guys know, if you've been paying attention to the show, we had Mr. Brian Tyler on a few weeks back, and it was a great show, a lot of fun, but we really wanted to do this face to face, and it just kind of happened to be a little serendipitous that we were able to kind of all get together in one spot. So we have Brian's story, and we're going to get into a little bit of that again here in a few minutes, but really, let's jump into Mr. Scott Handy. So what I know a little bit about your story just from brief conversations that we've had, but what really got you into the bearded community? 100% Jason Hall. We connected. Well, first of all, I've known him, Jay, since I want to say first grade, something like that. And we lived. He was like my first stop up the street. He was like, I'd say 6 houses away, and then we had another friend that was a couple houses over. So logically, I went up, I hit him, and I went over to our other buddy's house. And
our childhood was like an episode of Stand By Me. Not Stand By Me. Yeah, Stand By Me.
Stand By Me.
The
Track
yeah.
Yeah.
So he moved like I want to say freaking 15 miles from where we lived.
Right.
But in the 80s, when you move 15 miles from somebody, they might as well live in California because I'm not allowed to call long distance. So he was a long distance call because anybody outside of your town is basically a long distance call. And it's not like now, like your kids ask you to drive them 15 minutes or 20 minutes to hang out with a friend for the night. And we do it. My parents were like, "Are you crazy? No, I'm not driving you to, that we're not driving you over there to hang out with him." So
you got a bike.
basically, that distance, which is like nothing to when I think about it, it was enough to pretty much sever ties with Jason and I until Facebook,
Right.
and then Facebook was in town at a picnic, and I invited Jason and his family to the picnic. Jason still, I mean, he had a little bit of stuff going on there. I think I had what my friend used to call a panty dropper, which was the mustache with the stripe down the middle, and
Wasn't that about Hulk Hogan?
he was
Straight Fu Manchu.
no, just one guy that
He was definitely a
Courtney's
soul
friends
patch.
always
You were
called-
definitely
yeah.
a soul patch guy. You definitely had this.
But it was all the way down.
Yeah,
It was
you
all the
definitely
way
had the
down.
soul patch.
And yeah, I've definitely rocked just the mustache and the soul patch. I'm pretty sure I've actually just
So
did the soul patch by itself.
the Zillionople breakdance crew newspaper article, right?
Yeah, that's
a
pretty
good
funny.
story.
Yeah,
We,
I need this story.
So again, it was that same like I mean, I imagine you guys had your interesting childhood, but we were very much a get the hell out of the house, go do whatever you want to do. We ran about the town on our bikes, on our skateboards, whatever. But there was a little stage of time where we were really into breakdancing, and we would do practice around the house, around the neighborhood, and then we thought we were the shit. So we take our big ass piece of cardboard, fold it up, and we go up to Main Street town. And we lay down our cardboard and we start breakdancing in the middle of town. And apparently, next thing you know, a photographer from one of the little papers comes up and snaps a picture of us, asks us if we like do something. They took a picture of us, and it's one of those things that once Hall and I reunited, I was like, man, we started with the I think it was the when they used to do the Black and White Wednesdays or whatever. I was like, this is or the Throwback Thursday or whatever. I'm like, this is priceless.
I think I remember seeing you post that, like the newspaper article during that time.
Yep.
So,
And I was lucky enough to have a mother that kept all that stuff someplace until I got to the point that I could take it on and not it get all fucked up,
Right.
So that was a cool piece of memorabilia, and it was really just a kind of a hilariously ridiculous time.
And so all that brought you into Mad Viking. And then, so we were working together through the same company, same owners. And we were at the end of the season party at the owner's house. And it's like, so we're sitting there, I got somebody to hang out with. I'm not out there doing all the games. Neither one of us were. The wives hadn't gotten there yet. And I really need to tell you about this Mad Viking thing. My buddy, grew up with, Jason Hall. He's got this company. And so you were my introduction into Mad Viking Beard and Mustache at that party.
It's nice to see the story come full circle.
That's why I wanted to have the whole thing go all the way through.
So when we did his interview, I don't know if you got a chance to really get in there and watch it. We talked briefly about this, but like getting the other side of the story makes it nice to get everything kind of full circle.
So, and then we drove down for our first Battle of the Beards. Must have been 2016, maybe.
I was to say 15 or 16.
15 or 16 was Battle of the Beards, still Jurgles. So hung out, and then but you showed me around Old Town. You showed me Hall's house where he grew up, and all the stories about him jumping on the train just to ride the train for the hell of it. He was still working for the train company at that time.
Here's another fun connection. when we were younger, we used to. That's like I said, stand by. We used to run down. Like we lived a block from the train tracks. So we get on the trains and we ride them like a mile or two miles down the tracks, and then we jump back off and walk back. And those insulator things on top of the phone booths. We throw them railroad rocks at them and try to bust those up. Beehives, like just dumb shit. Like, hey, there's a beehive. Let's throw freaking rocks at it and see if we can knock it
Total
down.
rapscallion.
And then
Scallion.
and
That's a
then
great word.
and then you're running down the
right?
running down the rocks away from all the bees and saying, why do we do that?
Word of the day, folks, is rapscallion.
Rapscallion. I like it.
So just
So
a little Nick there.
when I met back up with Hall, I had found out that he was working for the railroad, and he actually ran the route that we used to hop the trains on all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was kind of funny. It's one of those things that small world or coincidental or whatever you want to call it.
I have a question at this point, and I'm going to have to ask Paul when I see him next week. Can he still break dance?
I would say
The right amount
out of all the people, well, actually, out of me and him, he would definitely probably be the better one to.
enough bourbon. He'll break it down.
Oh yeah,
Give him some bourbon. He's got it.
The video he did, the Eye of the Tiger, whatever. He was. It was a little thing with Josh Robinson where he's at the beginning of the video. He's sitting there meditating, and he gets up and then he ends up. It pans away, and the next thing you know, he's out on the trampoline doing kicks, and I think he might have had a headband on, and.
So there
all
isn't.
I'm saying is we need to see if we can talk Paul.
I think an '80s Monsters Ball is the time to see if the breakdancing still exists.
But we have the MC for Monsters Ball sitting right here,
Well,
and it wouldn't be hard to get a good piece of cardboard, and we have the music.
I mean, it's there.
I'd have to ask my wife if I'm allowed to do that.
You're gonna have to ask your knees if you're allowed to do that.
What is the level of possibility that I'm going to get injured trying to do that?
Highly likely, your back and knees will give out on you.
Yeah, because I was definitely a backspin, knee spin. Like fuck no, I would never do a knee spin right now.
No,
I'm pretty sure my kneecap would stay in
not
place,
intentionally.
and then the rest of my like
Sounds like somebody's trying to crash the record, and it's like, no, it's just my knee. But and that's really cool, and I love the fact that you have that connection with Hall, and he brought you into this because you guys are second club that raised their flag. Is that right? Or is
we were technically third, Pennsylvania and Michigan, and then us, and then Michigan dropped, and then we were the next to raise in December of 2017. So starting out fiscal year 2018 through now, we've raised over $50,000 from local charities.
It's
Mainly
not just raised, but
donated, and that's just actual monetary donations. That's not monetizing the humane drives, the crayons.
Right.
That's not monetizing that. We've given away over $50,000.
toiletry drive.
Yeah, it's not monetizing the toiletry drives.
Day that
Yep.
every year.
Yeah, we've been and
the Christmas things that we've done.
and we are
several
the
years.
longest tenured founding president and vice president in Mad Viking.
You were dying to say that.
I was looking at my man to say it because I know how much he loves that.
It is.
It's a point of honor.
Yeah,
It really is.
It's definitely a bragging point. Not that we're in it to brag, but it's also one of those things that sometimes I feel like I say that try to watch what we do and do what we do to a certain extent. I don't want every chapter to be their own chapter, but keeping as many people in positions as possible for as long as there's a lot of stability in that. You find people that fill positions and they're good at them, and then you just support the fuck out of each other.
But even when we have folks, so Treasure, that moved, and then ended up, the Modest Balls, going out and helping to create and raise and re-raise the flag in Virginia. But Stephen stepped up and took over that position
2018.
in 2018. I mean, pretty early in, we found the right people. So as soon as somebody steps out and not voted out, but because of life circumstance, and we have members that step up into positions. I mean, we've done that. Our sergeant at arms, our first officers, we've had new folks have to fill positions, but man, we have had folks just ready to do it, and they've done it well.
And do it well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, honestly, like having that tight knit unit, and Kentucky's kind of the same way. I took over treasurer in 2018 as well, so I've been in the same boat. And having the core group of us, because when I came in, there might have been 10, 11 active on the roster, but there was only about 7 of us that were actually doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, to see the growth that we've had over the last 4 years has been great. It's been the same core group of people, like the officers wise, because that's just, we were so used to doing it that way, and now we're expanding out. We're trying to give other people a little more leeway so they can learn how to do things, and that way, if we move away or we move out of our positions, they can come into those positions and be able to do something and kind of get that same kind of experience. Mm-hmm. But it's nice that you guys have built this club, this chapter, raised the flag, and you guys are still thriving. And this is the first time I've gotten to meet your other Stephen and Brandon. I'm horrible with names tonight. First time.
Have beer.
You all said Brandon like 10 times. It's weird.
Well, we were talking about another Brandon.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I knew that Brandon.
I'm Brandon. But having
Let's go, Brandon.
when we were talking about me coming up here and staying, and you're like, I'm gonna pull some people from the chapter to come out and hang out, like that meant a lot to me. Just to be able to get that kind of warm welcome from Maryland, Delaware, for me and Haley, because we've only talked to you guys on the phone or video chat, so this has been really enjoyable. And then the big puppy over there. So,
Well, the chapter, and my wife and I, like, when we tell people you're welcome in our home, it's not a, right here.
There it is.
It's not a, whatchamacallit. It's not an empty offer.
No.
I mean, we have had,
I think for
Gunpowder and Giving, we had
2 years ago, you had 13 people here.
yeah.
There's a Brandon story there too, right?
Oh yeah.
That's
he
the
didn't,
heart.
he didn't stay here that night.
Which
but
Brandon? Are we talking about party biking?
we're talking about party biking.
I'm not
Okay.
sure.
We're talking about
party biking.
take a picture of your balls and Scott's phone
The,
in the middle of a bar, Brandon. Not
the
Brandon.
Valentine's heart profile. Find that was taken
Yes.
at the bar. At
Oh,
the
gosh.
bar.
And it's a heart made out of
gosh.
his
It's
nut.
a heart.
And he had it for his profile picture for like.
Oh, that's the
I
sticker.
remember.
That's the sticker.
It is a sticker.
I got
Yeah.
the sticker at my house.
Oh my
That's
God!
his balls.
I remember. That changes
Well,
everything.
not.
See, we'll throw these stories out there. I mean,
I appreciate that.
You're thinking of.
I'm about to think of something different.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
thinking
okay.
of.
no, his profile.
Where is it? No, where is?
And just so you know, guys, because we were having technical difficulties, we're actually running the episode off of Scott Handy's phone tonight. So I am currently not able to see the comments. So if you've asked questions, I'm not ignoring you.
about
It's
this,
we're just
aren't you?
currently
Yeah.
currently not able
no,
to.
the heart.
That's what I was thinking of, though.
Well, you can cover
I
one
hate to
part.
be thinking about that, but that's what I'm thinking of.
No, the heart.
Apparently, if you guys have never seen this sticker, that is a rare commodity, and we're gonna go with some censorship because Facebook hates most of us. So,
Yeah,
although I'm still
Brandon's-
really surprised I
Brandon's was a-
didn't get banned after the Wallage episode.
Yeah,
was
like,
passed on
well,
the couch, right?
coolant isn't
Yes.
really a bad word, man.
Well,
In the English accent, it'll fly. Did we just get one in our episode?
I think
We
we
had to
did.
throw one in.
Yeah. we did. So, you
Wait.
guys,
you said what?
Keep calm.
Keep calm, Walsh called me a cunt.
Yeah, that's two.
2 episodes, man. And you were the winner of the actual Wallage
yeah.
episode.
I got a couple Walsh stickers. I'm pretty sure I got a Christmas card over there from the Wallages that I keep as part of my
Your shrine.
my cool Mad Viking shit. I got that. Steven, grab that real quick. That picture right there. This is another fun fact. So those of you, this has been a while. So those of you that have ever seen this,
Some folks actually have the team picture.
yeah, some people. The
'Cause they
first year
sponsored.
we
Yeah.
had we got sponsors from. Oh yeah, that's right.
Kid Small.
Yeah.
So that leads me to just another thing. So yeah, the first year I asked the Jays if I could do a Mad Viking sponsored soccer team, and then of course I asked Parks and Rec. I said, "All right, do you realize that the logo is going to be like a bearded skull? Just so you don't agree, and then I give you the logo image, and you're like, well, we can't do that for the kids soccer." So they agreed to it, and it was $250, and I had 10 different people with $25 donations, and everybody that donated got a one second.
That's his hands. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is the frame.
So this episode is going to be tagged as memory lane.
So I made these frames. It didn't have the picture of me and my son. It had a team
It's a
picture.
team picture. Yeah, I've got one.
And everybody that donated the $25 got a thank you and a picture of the team and a little Mad Viking frame that I made myself.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
The
so
second
Mad
year-
Viking has sponsored a youth soccer team. I mean, it's that coach,
2 years.
which is where your coaches came from.
There's a red shirt and there's a green shirt.
You
have
got
the
one. I
green
think Rob Grant has the other.
So Rob Grant could probably fit in the one that
He will
that
probably
had.
still fit in his. Yeah.
Steven,
My 2-year-old can fit the one I got.
the just to show the generosity of people, and the shirt got raffled off at the end of my first year for to buy a pizza party for the kids at the end of the year.
That's awesome.
And
Both years.
Steven won. Yeah.
Both years. Rob got it the first year, and I paid for it the second year.
And then Steven, I can't even remember what you ended up, what the winning bid was or whatever. It was like 70. Put it this way, I want to say it was like 60 or $70 for a shirt that there's no way in hell is ever going on his body. So I mean that was another one of those things that really blew me away. The stuff that I noticed when I first got on the page and was just kind of like hanging out and not really, we didn't get to the club point. I remember it's one of my favorite, like, it really got my heart going about Mad Viking. There was somebody in chat that ran out of gas, and they were like, I'm here in this area, and within, I don't know, 10 minutes, there was like 3 different people close enough to the hole in the wall that he was in that were, I remember one of them was like, I got my gas can, just like PM me your address, I'm on my way. And to me, and these are like, again, people that don't know each other for fucking nothing. Right. And just because they're in the same group and they see somebody asking for help, they were jumping up and doing what they could to help. And I was like, well, this is cool.
And I remember the same thing happening for crayons. That, hey, I don't want any help. I'm just voicing. I'm stressed right now about meds. And suddenly things just happen. And money's just become available. And you might not know who it came from. Hawks, same thing. There was the green,
I remember
the green beer mug that was released.
Mhm.
I was like, dude, Hawks, I gotta have the green one, but I can't do this right now. And I know somebody just randomly helped that happen. the Mad Vikings family, the Mad Love was Mad Love before it was a hashtag.
Yes.
So where did the Mad Love come from? Because like I know that you were on the ground floor of that.
Oh, no, wait, no, I don't.
Yeah, give the
So I'm gonna give proper credit.
yeah.
Yes, please.
I searched back multiple times to find the first times it was said on Mad Viking,
Okay.
and it's connected very closely to the same, like within a week of each other.
Yep.
And it is two of us that are in Valhalla. It was Moles and it was Wiz.
Yep.
Okay.
Roughly the same time around, they were both posts where they had mentioned mad, not a hashtag, but mentioned the word mad love or the term mad love or, something along those lines. So the, when it got to this point, that's when I stepped, like, that's where my part came in. I originally did this because I wanted to put it out there. I wanted to be able to like share that with people, and it ended up being some money that we made, and we bought some more stickers and stuff in our chapter. But then I started thinking about it more, and it turned into, all right, so Oklahoma, they had to switch from their original flag that they had designed to a new flag.
Yep.
And they were a little frustrated because now you have to come up with funds for the new flag. So I decided that we would move it. So then,
In case you guys are wondering, he's actually his bar. You can't really see it from where we are right now. I'll take some pictures as well throughout the after
so
the
there's the
show.
original Mad Love.
So
Right here.
remember that Mad Love went to Mole's family. Like
Yes.
you met
Nope.
Mole's.
Wrong.
No.
Nope.
The second
nope.
one?
Nope. Okay, let me finish this one. So then it ended up going to Oklahoma, then to Virginia, then to Washington. And what it became is roughly the cost to pay an artist to design your logo was about $250-300. So if you buy the stickers on the Sticker Mule deal, you can end up making about $250-ish.
There's Washington.
There's Virginia, and there's Oklahoma.
But then there was the original guy. Finish that story.
So yeah, that's the special edition one, and there's the other special edition one for Wiz. So then I wanted it to be a way to help the chapters, because that seemed to be a thing that stressed everybody out, right? Because everyone wanted to get their design in their shirt right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
So when you're starting out and you don't have pennies to scratch together, unless you have somebody that has deeper pockets than other people, Daddy Warbucks,
that.
you have to come together and scrounge what you can from the chapter. And if you
I
got
feel
a
like I
small
was just being
chapter,
kicked. I don't know why, Daddy
no,
$4.
no idea. Then it seemed like a very stressful thing, and for people just starting out, I wanted to try to alleviate the stress, and it worked for a while. And then it kind of like get a lot more chapters and a lot more stickers and a lot more stuff going on, and it may come back again, but it turned into the homages to Wiz and crayons and
family.
and I
Valhalla.
just haven't picked it back up since Patrick.
And you actually said something about how Patrick had gotten on and talked about being stressed and about medication. I remember all that, and I remember getting a call from Patrick. I remember him making that post that morning and then getting a call that night, and getting the heartfelt like love that he was shown, and just like he was in tears, and he was flattered and overwhelmed. And I'm grateful that there was a lot of people that was able to come through and help with that.
So the moles thing. This was the sticker,
Which was created by
That was a
Sparkle Balls.
yeah, that was Toad.
Yeah.
Toad had created
Where am I
that.
going with
Other
this?
way. There you go.
There we go.
Here,
Yeah,
let me
Toad's
help you.
Toad's created
There
that.
we go.
I still fly that flag. It is still in reasonable shape.
Oh,
It's still up here.
So I have mine. but it's folded up and in a box right now because I don't have a place to put it in my house.
Now that's since the Mad Cave has become the Mad Cave. That's hung there. I have one that turned into squirrels'
Shredded.
nests. It was shredded by squirrels, and they used it for nests. So yeah, assholes. So
But then
fuck them squirrels.
with that sticker, we ended up, you ended up meeting Mole's
Moses' daughter, and I
right?
gave her like $500 and some dollars to 515. Man,
Secretary or treasurer?
Treasurer.
Sorry, that was weird.
I was that was a little awkward.
when you're
there.
treasurer never takes any time off.
I actually never got to meet Moles or Wiz, and I really wish I would have. They seem like great people from the stories that I've heard. I was fortunate enough to know Patrick, being in the same chapter and talking to him every single day. And if Wiz and Moles were anything like Patrick, which from what I gather they were,
Do you remember the first conversation you had with Patrick?
yes,
Do you?
So
yeah,
the feeling you had after talking with Patrick, same feeling that I had after I talked. I'm sure everybody.
That's valid.
Yeah.
hmm
So come on over here, Steven. Get up here in the picture a little bit.
And that's the same. That's the same with Moles. Moles was the first Battle of the Beards, which was what it was called before. It was called Monsters Ball. I walked in, and it's a lot right at first, and we got there like there wasn't a ton of people right
We
there.
ran up to Meat because Meats was like the first person that I remember like marking out to.
But then
Not Dead Ed.
You kind of get a little like, wait, is that who I think it is, or like meeting somebody and seeing somebody in person and on like you look different than their Facebook profile. It's like, what the hell?
I think we were on Facebook like looking at profile pictures like most of the night with Jurgles.
Making sure. So at least then you go up to somebody and it's like everybody likes to when you know their name.
To be fair, Rob Howard was like, "You got to meet my friend Scott." That's how I met you. He was like, "You got to meet my friend Scott." And during the pandemic, they were doing the where you drop off beers at porches. He's like, "You should like drop beers off."
Beer bombs.
Yeah, you should drop beers off at my friend Scott's house. I'm like, "Oh, hey, Scott, hey, how you doing? I see you on Facebook. That's about it." I'm like,
But Moles was the first person that came up and slapped a hug around me at that first. She was the first one that came up and gave me a hug.
Yeah, for me, that was my whiz. That was my whiz moment. And again, we all have our first whiz moment.
I got to spend time with him by himself. We were on like a 4-day vacation, and I told Courtney, I said, I want to go meet up with a friend, and because he was in town, he used to travel like all over the place. And he was in Berlin, and we were in Fenwick, and that's a decent drive. I mean, it looks like it's not far, but it was about a good solid 50 minutes or an hour.
You mean Berlin? And you're not talking about Berlin.
Berlin.
Berlin,
it's a little town near the Atlantic coast.
He's like,
but when you're working,
like we were in Fenwick and he was in Berlin. That's not that bad of a drive. And I'm like,
5-hour plane ride.
Wait a minute.
So we went down and we met and had dinner and had some drinks. And I said there's been a few people outside of the chapter guys that I've had like one-on-one or two, like just we're actually having a good conversation with the person instead of competing for conversation time with several people. And he was one of those, and it was definitely one of those moments that I'll always remember hanging out with him for a night. But Courtney gave me shit at first because she's like, we're on vacation. I'm like, well, I'm not meeting them till like 9 o'clock at night. And you guys are gonna be like laying here getting ready to go to sleep anyway. So I met him late, and we hung out for probably like 3 hours or so, and then he went to his hotel and I went back to the condo, and everybody was crashed out and thought I was even gone.
Steven, you sharing your whiz moment?
So I met Wiz and Patrick both for the first time at my first Monsters Ball, which was at Cadillac Ranch.
It was an unveiling with you that Patrick was a surprise entrant or a surprise attendant, right?
Yeah, because he was not
Yeah.
supposed to be there.
No.
You carried him out, right? If I,
No, I didn't care. No,
unveiling,
I
carrying him.
no,
There's one great picture.
the only picture of me carrying someone. Oh, that. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Now, hold on. Was that the casting couch photos that Patrick did? Was that at Cadillac
Yes.
Grand?
Well, yeah,
That was the big red
Yeah.
leather
Yep.
couch.
Yes.
but most of those
White
are black
leather.
pictures.
Yes.
White.
So that was the first time I met Wiz and Patrick both. Didn't obviously it was at Monsters Ball, it was at Cadillac Ranch. There was people everywhere. There were many more people there that knew Patrick and Wiz a lot better than I did. But I got a chance to, talk to Wiz a little bit. Really got a chance to talk with Patrick, just kind of sitting out by the fire, just me and him talking. And he reminded me a lot of, not necessarily a dad, but an old friend that you hadn't seen in forever.
Yeah.
It was, I've never met him, but me and him could talk.
But suddenly you somehow knew him for most of your life, and you just had that connection.
Very first.
And both of those men were the exact same way.
Yeah.
And Moles too.
Yep.
But both those men, for me, were the exact same way.
Absolutely.
So I'd never had a personal conversation with Wiz, but similar to your story with Patrick, it's actually how I ended up joining Mad Bike. And I've told this story on the show. I might have told it with you. I don't remember if I told it with you or someone else.
When you tell the story now, I'll know if you did.
So when I got into the, it might have actually been on Talking Beards. Big shout out to Talking Beards with Aaron and Scott.
Yeah, goatee. Team goatee. We love it.
So Team Pancake.
You keep bringing this up. This is no longer a Brandon Barnes thing. This is now a Ray thing.
It's because I love you.
Okay.
So
That was after he was already unveiled.
Yeah.
But that's the
this.
picture you're talking about.
That's the picture I'm talking about.
the picture of
yes,
me
I
holding
remember
him.
that.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite picture.
That's a great picture. Because he had been unveiled.
And you notice that I didn't choose the awful picture.
So
this
just
is
flipping
showing
around
real
and show,
well on
and
camera,
show the
right,
crowd.
so-
Like, so if you guys got
No, there's the other side.
the Coloring with Crowns book, if you look on the back cover, you will see the picture that we are talking about for the unveiling with Scott and Patrick. Was definitely a good one, and we're gonna crack open.
The disturbing one.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure I have Dave Curtis to blame for this. Speaking of Dave Curtis.
Bunnies.
Well, the fat version of Dave Curtis. Speaking of fat, sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was like at least
So
10,
this was actually
12
mentioned.
pictures.
This was mentioned at the end of my show
yes.
as the most embarrassing moment
yes.
for me in selling this calendar.
This might be one of mine.
In so
Don't be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about.
There we go.
I had grandmothers with that calendar hanging on their wall.
That is in auto shops all across.
And then they get to May and they're like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Mama.
funniest part about this was
burnt fingers.
yes,
Burnt
that
fingers.
is moss that you buy from a craft store, and those are very thin, like nylon, spandexy underwear. Well, I thought that if you put it on ahead of time, that it would all fall off whenever you go to put the underwear on.
The hot
So,
glue.
yeah,
Yeah, hot
I
glue.
figured the moss and stuff would start falling off. So
Hot glue. I'm just gonna bring that up.
Lex Howard, who Lex
One
is
of
going
our
to be
members.
one of the judges for Friday
Yeah.
night at the costume contest, she hot glued moss to my underwear while I was wearing them. The very first piece of moss went like right above my junk to the like.
I love
Like
how he
thigh-ish
literally was
area.
like trying to find the best word for it, and he still went with
Yes.
junk.
And I remember it very well because it was that I
Out
was
in the
like,
field.
oh, holy shit, that hot glue went right through that material like quick.
Yeah.
Lex burnt the shit out of her fingers, and I had like a couple spots on my ass that were like that big that were blistered.
So now the question is the picture. If you look at the picture, it looks like Scott is yelling in there. Is that from the heat, or is that just the way it just kind of came out?
So I wish I had the. So I get down there, and I had there's no evidence of the lime. Wait, here you go. There's what? Okay,
Yes.
lime flour, I have a lime in my hand, crushing lime, and
I've seen him on Facebook.
I take
That's where I've seen him, but he has several.
that to the head,
That one's hilarious.
and then I turn up and look at everybody, and that is
Very
the
sultry.
final picture, and that's the one that they used for the
It's very
calendar.
sultry where you're chugging it.
But that calendar was a good way for our
Haunting dreams forever.
Haunting dreams.
do
forever.
something fun as a group. It was meant to raise money. Thankfully, our sponsors covered the cost of making the calendars, and there are a lot of people that bought those calendars that had no idea what Mad Viking was about.
They're also in England and in Ireland.
Yep.
We know
Well,
for certain.
There was somebody pooping rainbows. there.
Rainbows.
But the calendars, they were good for our chapter as a bonding experience.
It was an amazing bonding experience when we did the whole team photo. Our
Families,
coming together. Our
family.
the family coming together. All of us are selling them at Cadillac Ranch. I mean, this was a great bonding experience for the chapter.
Yeah, I got family members, mothers and
There's
grandmothers to buy
Steven's
calendars
family.
and hang them in their house.
Like, ooh.
8:43. There's the bosses.
We're gonna run it. This is gonna be actually. The funny part is because it just kind of naturally the conversation went this direction.
There's Brian.
Let him finish going through the calendar.
Yeah, I think we're about to the end. There we go.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the calendar idea was great. Indiana did it too, and I have that one, and now I have y'all's as well, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
No problem.
It was a
Do not schedule off of that. You will not show up and shit on the right.
Wrong year.
damn. Well, that ruins everything.
That calendar will be true again eventually.
But
Yeah.
But honestly, I love the calendar idea. I thought the calendar idea was a great one, and I know that when Indiana did it, they were able to really put some numbers out there and help kind of build for their charity. I can't even remember which charity it was that they were doing it for. I'm a horrible host tonight, but 9.5 hours on the road. I'll do that to you. But I really do appreciate that, and I talked to you about this. I talked to Brian about this. It's just kind of funny. We've been talking about the Mad Love stickers, and we've been talking about the reason why it kind of came up. So this is going to be kind of our intro take 2. Yeah, same. If you don't mind. I'm actually going to be doing what's called a new session. It's going to be called the Mad Love session, and it's going to be strictly around the clubs with Mad Viking, and just kind of all of us getting together and talking about what Mad Love and what the community means to us as a group. And I think tonight's episode has really kind of went that direction. Okay. That's good. Just going straight with IPAs tonight. Okay.
That's what's in the fridge.
That's fair.
That's what you drink.
So, what is that one?
It smells really good.
Wizard
From Black Flag.
Black Flag.
Which
So-
is one of my favorites around here. They never do me
That's
wrong.
good.
You did notice this, right?
I did.
Just making sure you
wizard
saw it.
I trust me. I can spot that sticker from a mile away.
And then there's that one there.
Yeah, late. I have those.
Sometimes 8.
So since we're kind of going that direction, and we're going to talk about Maryland a little bit, and then we'll go into the international side. And we'll definitely do a solo episode at some point, Scott. And that way we can kind of just.
Told you we can do it Thursday, unless you got something going on Thursday.
Or you can record it
Next
tomorrow and it'll be ready in the can.
Oh, actually, we got some other things that I think me and him are going to play with tomorrow too.
Sweet.
On recording.
Yeah.
So,
Do 2 intros for
categories. So, since how long have you been with the club at this point, Brandon?
A little over a year.
Yeah,
Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years.
Almost 2.
So did they beat you up when you prospected?
No, it was a guy I worked with in retail, Rob Howard, told me, hey, reach out to my friend Scott. we're in this beard club, and I like literally it was like yeah.
We accept
Business
women too.
beard.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I've had a goatee since I was 11 because just naturally
There
hairy.
was a
But yeah,
55-gallon drum of lube that was ordered, and a lot of confetti.
no, and
Yeah, that's a mental image that I will never get out of my head. See.
The only thing that I
are
ever,
it's been like almost 2 years, but it's been very welcoming. Like every time, like the first time I came here, like hugs, like I was welcomed with open arms. It's nice. It's a nice brotherhood. Like
It's a family.
yeah,
It really is.
and it wasn't like there was no hesitation.
And that was the immediate feeling that I got when I first came in. Like talking about the whole Patrick thing. I met Patrick. I didn't have the elegance of meeting him at a Monsters Ball. I met Patrick at a very small competition in Richmond, Kentucky. I had no idea what the beard community was at the time. Like I was still learning, and I remember joining the Facebook group and was like, hey, I'm interested in learning more about this. And they're like, hey, we're going to be at a competition for Beard and Loathing down in Richmond, Kentucky. You should come out. I was like, sure, why not? And I think that was Charms that sent me the message. And I show up down there to I show up down to the comp, and I remember because my wife Haley was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna go down here to this comp." She's actually over here braiding Tegan's hair currently. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna go down here and check out this beard and mustache comp. And I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I was like, but I'll be back here in a little while. And so take off going down there, and I remember kind of standing around, kind of feeling like like just sticking out like a sore thumb. And Patrick walks up to me, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm Patrick." I said, "Hey, I'm Ray." And he goes, "You joined the Facebook group here recently?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come with me, let's go talk." I was like, "Don't you have to compete?" He's like, "I'm not worried about it tonight." He's like, "Let's go talk." And we went outside and we sat down. What I thought was going to be like a 20-minute conversation went 2 hours.
sounds about right.
Yep. Yeah,
And-
that's
And like I felt like
I made sure I had time clear whenever I got him on the phone.
I literally walked away from that competition, and I got home and I looked at Haley and I said, so I'm joining a beard club. And she said, okay. And I was like, you have to meet this guy. I was like, he's got the most beautiful beard. And I was like,
He
and
was in love with that beard, by the way.
I had beard envy. Yeah, it's still to this day.
You fangirled over Patrick's beard.
It was a beautiful beard. I
He
can't
was
help that.
Gordon's beard.
You're a cute
And-
too.
Yeah, let's not forget
Did I
that.
say that out loud? Sorry.
So if you look at that picture on the back, if you look at that picture on the back of the color,
you're
of the
missing a
crowns,
hand.
if
One
you-
is grabbing upon.
yeah, there is
Patrick's
a
ample.
there is
No,
a
no, you
hand.
can't claim that.
Oh, all right.
So there it's
And that
not,
is a microphone. That's not me excited.
no, but I did. I walked out and I said I came home and I looked at my wife and I was like I'm joining a beard club and I think I have a new best friend. And, and that was that and I talked to Patrick every single day after that up until his passing.
That's awesome.
And that was just one of those people that I'll never forget,
Yep,
and
no doubt.
it's the reason why anything that I put forward now, whether it be for Mad Viking or for the Odd Fellows, is immediately like when they say what charity do you want to do, it's Lyme disease.
Yeah.
And I will pick up that mantle for Patrick and Carrie. It's actually Patrick. It was Patrick's pushing me to do this show that actually got this show started. It just took a little while longer.
Well, since you mentioned that, I'm going to tell you a thing that I told Patrick. And this was when we first did our calendar. I was thinking we'd probably do it again the next year. We thought they were going to be like, we were going to be hotcakes, beating people off, selling them. I think I got like, in a drawer over there, I got like 8 more of them somewhere.
You hear that, guys? We have 8 more calendars. They may be out of date, but the pictures
There's
are
great
priceless.
pictures.
If you guys have not,
Auction for charity.
yeah, like You know what? Bring them to Monsters Ball.
I should.
I think we can. I think between all of us, we can get those sold.
$1 a piece.
This is pretty.
Take what you get.
So
You
I
can sell
told
them for
him
$10 a piece and get the nostalgia effect.
Nostalgia.
Now they're.
I threw together. So I picked the month of May originally. It was my birthday,
Right.
and then Patrick's like, "Oh, cool, you got May, you got Lyme disease," and I was like, "Okay, so now, well, how do I?" And this was like 3 days before.
Yeah, you gotta
3 days before the
There
photo
you go.
shoot.
Talking to them, not Ray.
This is like 3 days before the photo shoot, and I'm like, well, how the hell do I connect this to Lyme disease? And so I went to the store, and when I bought the moss and shit, I bought the lime flowers, and I bought some limes, and I started, I don't know, I think he maybe had something to crushing lime.
We were doing the taking a bite out of lime.
Okay, yeah.
Is what we were doing, and that was something that I want to bring back this year. So if Delaware, Maryland wants to get on board with that, please.
I think one of the pictures that didn't get published was Scott actually biting a whole lime, like biting into it, and you kind of see the wincing in his face from the sourness.
So between Maryland Delaware chapter and Bearding for Autism Awareness, make sure to contact us when you're doing your next venture.
We'll get it together, and then I'll talk to Kentucky, of course, about this. But I think this is something that we should do every year.
Maybe throw a new sticker in your 3-pack.
Yeah,
for a special edition 4th sticker,
mm-hmm.
and see if we can't get that out there.
Well, I mean,
you have a sticker pack,
I
right?
have a limited run. You want to hand me the sticker bundle? I have a limited run, thanks to Mr. Scott, that I'm going to include in with a very limited orders. I don't have the exact number now, but if you guys missed out on the Mad Love sticker, I have some of the Crowns Mad Love
So the
sticker for the bundles. If you guys did not get one, the bundles are still up on the page for $10.
I got my originals.
Yeah, they will go. The first come, first serve. Whoever gets in on the bundle deal, all that most of the money is getting split between 2 different charities. It's getting split between the Pennsylvania Children's Hospital and ABR Amputee Blade Runners between the bundle pack. So if you guys are interested in the Mad Love sticker, I will throw in an additional sticker if you pick up the package. Just got to make sure to get it in. Check the post. It should be on the page. Easy to find, and we'll go from there.
See, I'm all about trying to connect us.
I appreciate that. I really do. And that's the thing is,
So there's a Wallage sticker.
there is. It's the Cunt's Corner sticker. That's
Yeah.
not as good as Wallace's episode.
Hey, Wallage isn't here, but we've gotten 3 coins in.
Wasn't it his birthday
That's for
this morning?
it was. Happy
Today?
birthday, Michael
Yeah.
Or
Wallach.
yesterday when
Yes,
you
hold
view
on.
this,
well,
Yeah, well, by the time he sees
he
it,
sees it. Yeah.
Depends on
so-
which way your time turns.
but that's not the only one. We got to remember, guys. It's Nick Mott's birthday as well.
Is it not?
It is.
So Mott's a Maryland guy.
The murder panda.
He has a Maryland connection.
Okay.
His family was up here. Our family, our chapter, took care of him and got him in and out on flights after his dad passed.
Okay. I
So
was
we
not
have
aware
a
of
we
that.
have a Mott connection with Maryland.
So
2 times.
2 times.
2 times?
Yeah. So
2 times.
So when Marilyn went to Florida, which was my family, to Disney, we flew in and we stayed at a condo rather than the last time we did it. We stayed at one of the Disney resorts where you have a shuttle taking you everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So we stayed at the condo, and when I can't remember where they left it, but yeah, relatives of ours picked it up from them. We had Nick's Jeep for the week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the whole time we were there, we had Nick's Jeep to drive around, and I don't lend my car to a whole lot of people. So to lend somebody your vehicle, and they just happened to they were in Ohio while we were in Florida. So he's like, man, I don't need it. You can use my Jeep. So we didn't have to rent a car, and we had the cool ass Jeep to ride around. So
That's awesome.
There is I don't travel much, but from what I've seen, in the United States, as far as all the chapters and all the people in Mad Viking, whether you're in a chapter or not, there is always somebody that's willing to help out in any way.
Or meet up with if you travel.
You know, if you travel and you say, hey, you know, if you're on the main Mad Viking page and you're traveling, let them know that you're going somewhere and you are bound to meet somebody that you've never met before, and it will feel like a friend you've not seen in 20 years.
And I can personally attest to this.
And those are the best meetings too. Like I said, the one where it's not when you got a line of people waiting to talk to the same person you're talking to.
Right. Like sitting here tonight, like this is the first time I've met Scott and Brian in person. The first time I've met Steven and Brandon in person. And this family, like no matter what chapter you're from, we instantly connected. Scott walked out on the front porch as soon as he saw me, and Haley gave us both hugs. And same with Brian, same with Brandon, same with Steven. Like we're, never met these people in person. But
a lot of us slap handshakes away. We're like, get that shit out.
Yeah. Remember that. So if you're at Monsters Ball and you see any of these cats up here,
Don't shake hands.
Don't shake hands. Just run up and tackle them.
Yeah, give up the idea that this is a two people-y situation and just hug.
Yeah.
Give it up. You're just gonna hug.
COVID really must have killed you guys.
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough.
No, we didn't even care. We still hugged.
No, yeah, exactly.
Or maybe some of us didn't, and we did, and we didn't. It's
Tell
video.
Like I said, that's about the time I joined. Though, like
he just walks in and it's like, hey, welcome to the family. Oh, by the way, I have COVID. It's just
mass.
So the promise that I made to Patrick, and then I'll forget about that. My brain can go on to something else. Was me and an armadillo, not an armadillo. Fucking.
I don't know. I don't know where the story's going.
you got
No,
I
just
don't know.
Lost it.
Come on.
You and a RV.
What's the animal that eats ticks?
Possum.
Possum.
Yeah.
I
told him I was going to dress up as a possum, and I wanted a sword, and I was going to have people throw limes at me. I was going to cut the limes up whenever they were flying at me.
I 100%.
I will absolutely throw limes at Possum Scott. I will find all the limes.
You know what? For that.
He'll
I
drive up from
I will drive up from Kentucky just to be involved. I don't even have to throw limes. I just want to stand back here and watch it.
You can video. I will buy every lime. I'm going to plant a lime tree right now to have a supply of limes to throw
my gosh.
Awesome ass.
So that is happening.
Yes, we are going to make this happen now.
All right, I got to figure out where to get a possum going.
She's looking up already.
She's on Amazon. On it.
Here we go.
Courtney's on it.
Oh, I was going to say, Haley or Courtney want it.
Courtney's on it.
Courtney's looking it up.
If the powers combined, it's over. Like they'll find it in the next 10 minutes and be like, oh yeah, by the way, here it is.
Tomorrow morning,
like I said,
Possum costume.
Prime, it's just there now.
Like I said briefly the other day when we were talking about
you're gonna knock the door like while we're here.
The embarrassing level before I joined Mad Viking and my embarrassing level now are two very different things.
Yeah.
Oh, like the belly.
I was never a guy that wore a shirt into the pool, but I also
I'll tell you right
walk
now,
around and
didn't yell
the
screaming.
The good thing is the belly flop
dive.
contest. I was very before I'd be embarrassed of my belly. That was my profile picture from the belly flop contest. Was yours too? I was proud of it.
Yours is a t-shirt.
But I was super proud of that. I'm like, I got my belly is out there, but I'm like, it's fun. It's for charity. It's for good thing. I loved it.
We have 10% on my phone.
I know. I agree with that one.
Oh shit.
Well, we can charge it. I just got to unplug the mic and charge it.
The biggest red.
How's your battery?
10%.
10%.
We got 8 minutes. You want to go ahead and plug it up then?
Yeah, we're still going.
I mean, unless you guys
keep going. No, this is.
So we're going to continue going, guys. I know it's going to be a long one tonight, but
oh, nice one.
Never heard a complaint.
You never heard a complaint about a long one.
But honestly, I'm really enjoying the episode. I think we're having a lot of fun. We're gonna make it. The volume's gonna shift just a hair. just because we have to unplug the microphone, and we're gonna make Scott turn around and yell at.
He's gonna have to sit right here to talk. He's gonna have to talk like this. I don't have that problem. I know I can project. I know I'm loud enough. My teacher voice works.
Yeah, drama voice. Like, you know,
we're gonna have some fun because honestly, like, we still have so much more. Like this whole episode is, as much as it kind of went off the rails, it's also really good. Hi. Well, I mean, I can't even ask for dinner and a movie because he's already bought me dinner tonight. So
Ray, one of the things that with the Mad Lycan family, when you end up at Scott's house, you're obviously not from here.
Right.
Everybody knows that. You can sit down at this bar and have this conversation for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Not at all. Like, it's honestly, like, I was kind of shocked when I seen that we were already at an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it really is cheers. You come in the door, and everybody knows your name, and you're just family as soon as you walk in the door. And that is what Mad Lycan. That's not just Maryland Delaware chapter.
No,
although I promise it is. But it's also just Mad Lycan family.
oh yeah, it's the same way. You guys come to Kentucky, it's going to be the exact same way. And I know that.
Actually, is that a segue for me?
Yeah. Okay.
So it probably wasn't, but when you realize what I'm saying, you were like, "Damn, that was a good segue." So speaking of showing the love in Kentucky and the love in Maryland, one of the Stephen created Gunpowder and Giving 4 years ago.
This is year number 5.
This will be year number 5, and the charity that we do that for is called Hassler's Helping Hand. And when we were at Hassler's event about a month ago, I overheard the fact that they were going, about 7 or 8 of them are going down to Kentucky for archery.
For a hunt.
Yeah, it's for a hunt. I think they're going for 8 days.
Yeah, and so I kind of, said to Ray that, hey, I'll where are you going exactly? And then I'm messaging in the dinner, sending these guys, is everybody close to this? Can you guys maybe meet up? And they were like, they were close enough. And then I was like, well, Roy, here's the plan. I said, we're gonna hook you up with our Kentucky chapter, and the plan is that the Kentucky chapter, they're gonna show them a night out and take them to dinner or something like that.
That's awesome. Ray, I appreciate that.
I've already talked to Roy too. So.
Awesome. That's phenomenal.
Hassler's is, Gunpowder Giving and Hassler's Helping Hands is probably the most dearest, charity to my heart. When I first became a member of Mad Lycan, we started, as a club, talking about events that we could do and what we could do to raise money. And I put it out on my personal Facebook, and somebody referred me to Hassler's, and I reached out to him, and I went over and he invited me to his house, and I showed up with coffee, and he was like, you know what? He's like, I've talked to other charitable groups and tried to do things, and nobody's even offered to bring coffee, to a meeting or to a conversation. And I told him, I said, I can't guarantee what we'll raise, but this is my idea. And he's like, well, if you do it, I'll be there and I'll bring people. And Roy and his group of people have been there every year. This year in March, the Saturday after daylight savings time, will be 5 years that we've done it. We've raised just over, I think, $5,000 over the 4 years so far. And
Grown
doubled every year. Doubled every year.
So we
had an
we got
event
other
just
chapters
pre-COVID.
coming out.
Just pre-COVID.
The 1 year we had Pennsylvania, Virginia.
Yep.
Paul and Steelan were in the area.
Yeah.
They made it to the area.
They did a lot better this year, though.
Yes.
All made it to the event.
Those two have very if you get those two in the same area and things happen, there's an adventure.
There was a Handte hotel
Happiness
Hotel incident that one and or both of them might have died at.
I don't know if we're allowed to tell that story.
We're actually not, but it's a fun one to bring up.
Well, that's an unfair story.
They both had their
He'll share with
the
Ken.
first night. We ended up we were here and we ended up at Johnny's, which is a bar, and it's a
Hole in the wall.
and this was like right in the COVID area time where a lot of people were still having you wear masks, and this place is like no mask. They don't give a fuck.
It's a dive.
We went in there and everybody got shit faced, and Hall and Sealand did not make the event.
Reaper was here too.
Hall eventually made it.
Hall
He was
did
too drunk
come
to
up.
shoot, and Sealand time traveled.
Sealand and Josh.
Yeah,
Time travel.
no, it wasn't.
Josh was down the first year. He didn't make it to the event.
Was it?
Yeah, Josh and his girlfriend made it last year.
Did
Shot. No, both of them shot.
Adam?
Yeah, Adam was the one that didn't make it.
Yes,
Adam
Adam did
Sealand
make it.
time travel.
Yeah, time travel.
There's a picture of Adam laying right on the floor there with his pants pulled down, and then another picture of a handprint on his ass from me slapping him in his bare ass.
We can only say so much about this. So
But this is going to be an off-air story. I need to tell. So,
But you know, Hustlers is a charity that we have donated to every year. Not only do we hold an event for them, but we also, as a group, attend their event that they hold every September, which is their major fundraiser for a year. And they take veterans out on turkey or deer hunting trips, cost free. Like, the veterans don't have to pay anything. All they have to do is show up. They give them a place to stay. They feed them. They give them, ammo for the guns. They give them the guns. Like, if
you help them with all their licenses.
Like, if you're
do all the butchering.
they have to have their own license.
Right. But they help them with the process.
I want to go over there.
Yeah, I have won quite a few at their events.
You may not want them on record.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. But Hasslers, to me, it like you said, Ray, you're going to do something for Patrick and Lyme disease. One of the big things as a chapter, we have found charities that mean something to us personally. Not just, we're going to donate to the Red Cross or we're going to donate to American Heart Society. Like, find charities that mean something to you.
And I know that's something that we're going to make important at the international meeting when we host that at Monsters Ball.
Now that's a good segue, right?
Yep,
there.
I'm working at this. I'm transitioning. At Monsters Ball, we've already had a couple of concepts that have come up, and we've talked this through a lot, and between the J's, and one of the things, committees, as we've done for charities, and having charities that are important to the members of the chapter, because it really helps the members of the chapter to get behind an event.
Right.
Yeah. And it also it allows people that are not one of the board member officers to step up and create something and run something themselves with minimal help from an officer. I mean, there can be more than one officer in the chat, but or in the committee. But once it's like, well, he's an officer, so that's not maybe the best. But
Is Brandon an officer?
no, but Brandon has not done like jumped in and done a committee.
Taking lead on committee yet? Not yet. Okay.
There you go.
I like so
Johnny on the spot right now.
Chris and Liz are a good example I like to use because
That's weird.
one, they are both just regular members, and they both came up with an idea. Courtney and I may have had a little bit. We were hanging out at this pool and drinking, and they said that they wanted to find a way to incorporate the pool into something,
Okay.
like with the club. And then we were just throwing around ideas, and I'm looking like there's a freaking high dive there, and one of us said something about a belly flop. And then it was like, yeah, I don't know. And then it was like, well, that could be, And then pitched it to everybody else, and everybody else was like, "Oh hell yeah, belly flop! That sounds great." So Chris and Liz, Liz picked the charity for the connection that she had. She was a nurse in the Anne Arundel County when this little girl Ellie passed. So she had that connection to the charity. She picked the charity. They had the connection to the pool. They took everything and ran with it. And basically, they had myself and there's like 3 other people or something like that on the committee the first year, and then I think it became bigger the next year because more people. We realized we needed more people to help out. But yeah, Dave and Pam, and it turned into an amazing opportunity for them to shine, and they did. They freaking killed it.
Well, I think over the last 2 years, we've donated over $8,000 to the poor alley players, which is awesome.
And then this year, unfortunately, it was rained out, but we still had some fun.
And some of you still plunged.
Yeah.
$5,000.
But even in the same thing, I mean, we're sitting out with 3 members, at a shooting event, and just presented the idea about 9-hole.
Not even a shooting event.
We were just out there shooting. Three members of the Maryland Delaware chapter just out there shooting because we're blowing off steam and getting a little lead therapy. And we presented the idea about 9-hole, and I presented that it existed. Stephen then went into this headspace of creating an event out of it.
And then I had a birthday who Courtney's coworker, a guy I had never met before, said, "Can I take your husband shooting?" And of course, I was like, "Sure." So this guy took me out and took me to a range, and I've come to find out that he's one of the main people at the range, and Stephen had already put that idea in my brain, so I was like, "Hey, Glenn, what do you think about us doing this here?" And it went from him saying, that sounds really cool, to, "Hey, Glenn, meet Stephen."
But that's the idea of how our committees in the club the club have worked. You guys have it. With the Freemasons, the Odd Fellows. The Odd Fellows have theirs. I mean, all of the organizations have their committees that do individual events, and we just kind of took that theme.
No, I'm just saying, so basically, it's a good way to go, and that's something that I've, being in both the Odd Fellows and Mad Biking, I draw a lot of parallels. And that's something that I feel I'm not going to take all the credit because a lot of that has just been a group effort from Mad Biking Kentucky. We drew a lot of parallels between the Odd Fellows and our chapter in building how we do things, like our order of business, on how we handle our meetings. That's all drawn. We when we decided that we were going to build a structure, it was like, well, how do you guys do it at the Odd Fellows? And so we built it.
So all was based off of Robert's rules of engagement.
Yeah,
all was based off of a singular, which all of Mad Biking is. We've used Robert's rules.
Mm-hmm.
But we took in what I know from the American Legion, which from the Odd Fellows. I mean, it's I think you have some Legion background also. Seeing those meetings, taking in that formal structure to make sure we're incorporating that into our chapters.
Well, it also helps you to kind of get what you need done. So having that point of order to be able to go, okay, so this is previous minutes, this is new business, this is old business, this is what we currently have on the list, whether it be secretary notes, treasury report, president's report, so on and so forth. It helps to give you the state of the club, the state of the chapter, where we see it at. This is what we have.
Right.
And that's actually gonna, and these guys, of course, can stay up here. This is actually going to tie towards the part of the interview that I wanted to get into with the international side. So, as the president and vice president of the international, we're I know what we've got going on, and I'm not gonna, I don't want to necessarily air that's private business, but as a state of the club, how do you guys feel things are going right now?
I think growth is great. We are working to keep chapters involved I know that one of the things is just communication between, inside the chapters, and then communication within, moving out towards international, because communication helps all of us grow better.
Yeah.
The phrase "a rising tide raises all ships" has become one of the phrases that I just have latched into for some reason right now. That if we continue to grow Mad Viking, then all individual chapters will continue to grow, and new chapters can seed themselves and continue to grow. We haven't seen new chapters come in in 2 years' time.
Right.
So New York and Indiana, which have done phenomenal. You guys have rocked. Coming through. Coming out of COVID, but we haven't seen folks make a legitimate push. Make a try, yes, but not make a legitimate push towards raising a flag since those 2 chapters. And that's something that I know you and I both want to see, more growth, with more strong growth with strong chapters, coming into the Mad Viking world.
Absolutely. We've had a handful of groups or people from different states that have reached out and tried to get something started. And basically, so far, the people that have requested, I start up a chat, or myself and Brian start up a chat with them, and they struggle to get it going, so it just falls to the wayside. And it's one of those things that I'll try to inject a little life into it and see what I can get going on. But it's got to be on those people. It's got to be on that group, because if you're not going to do it then to just get started, then you're not going to do it for real. And if we're going to put chapters out there, we want to make sure that we're putting people out there that are dedicated and that want to do this, that realize that it takes time and effort, especially if you're a board member or an officer. It is just a 1 day a month commitment, especially if you're an officer. It is definitely more of a commitment than that, and depending on what you're doing and what position and how much effort and heart you put into it, it can be a everyday commitment, which it is 100% definitely an everyday commitment for myself and Brian, that I'm sure of. And I'm pretty sure that
as the treasurer of Broward Delaware, there are days that I do as much work as the treasurer for the chapter as I do at my full-time job.
Yeah, I agree. As president, I definitely do too.
And sometimes both at the same time. There have been days I've taken my personal laptop, which holds all my chapter information, to work, and been working on that while working at a concrete plant.
But that's not to discourage. That's just the level of commitment that we take upon, growing this entity, this chapter, this Mad Viking world.
There's a conversation every day in Facebook chat, like, about something related to,
and sometimes it's business related.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's business. Yeah. Sometimes it is.
And that's the thing, is like, our chats are there for our documentation, to keep us up to date with, hey, this is what the meeting is, or this is what we got going on. But it's also there as a family chat, and I know that because, like this morning you posted up in our chat, talking about you were at the urgent care, which I'm glad to see that you're doing okay. But like, that's one of those things that, like, you can still utilize your chat. And I know there's some chats out there, from what I've heard, that they don't really talk much, unless it's just business stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But, I like our chat. Like, and you two can attest. Like, we're a chatty bunch of people.
Yeah. But even like Skeleton Crew, I just posted something just recently. It's like, I don't know if this is the right venue, and Andrew was like, yes, make this the family. This is the same extension of the Mad Viking family. Continue this conversation here, that it's okay. So having this place as a family, all interacting in all of the chats, interacting in all of the pages, just be a part of it to grow the family.
Right. So I'm guessing that a lot of internationals
meeting is going to be about growth.
It is. So I actually have the notes that Scott and I have put together for talking points from us.
I wasn't trying to pry, but I could see
Yeah,
some
it's
of
okay.
it.
No, it's nothing prying. I wanted him to see the thing we've talked about, that we put notes down.
Growth, communication. We're looking at trying to inject other ideas, and this was something that came up last year, utilizing ideas that other chapters have done, and it has worked for them. There's no reason, honestly, it's silly for us not to have a cornhole tournament or have a shooting event and reach out to a chapter that has done that successfully. Coins. Is there?
Oh, you got yours? You got yours on?
What do you think?
I actually very that's amazing.
The
I love
blue,
it.
the black, and the green.
Actually, I have one.
We all pulled them. This was not discussed.
No, it was not. So, for the record, like Charms actually.
This is my first normal one. I didn't get the second year. The first year I got. It's
So
been in my wallet.
if you guys haven't seen these are the challenge coins that Maryland, Delaware put out. Together We Grow, and I absolutely
Yep.
Okay, I absolutely love these.
You gotta
Yours. There's your share.
That's why they're in my pocket.
That's why you're doing
Mine are up in my
Pull them out.
So just
You got all three? He's got all three?
Oh no. Hold on. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Now you got all three.
You now have all three.
Is this the first year? Is this
Nope.
the first year?
Black
This
is
one's
first. Black,
So-
green, and blue.
Big shout out to Charms and Puckers because the first year they got an extra one and they gave it to me because I missed out on the window. Very cool. And you can ask Haley. I carried this in the small pocket of my jeans every single day for the last
So we have had calls.
In my wallet.
We've had calls. You know, this was not a call. I had calls at events. I have called to see if all my members have their coins. So you call, and anybody who doesn't have theirs buys the next round. If I have called and everybody carries, I buy the round for everybody.
So this is the Daddy Warbucks conversation.
Well,
That's why I don't call people out. I let
I have
people call people out and I slap my shit down because I always.
Around right now.
no, this was not a call. This wasn't a call.
That would have been right.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hey, maybe one of these is yours.
The green I claim immediately.
So it's between blue and black, girl.
What I will laugh off.
Yes.
We will continue this. There are still coins available from this year.
Silver.
The blues are sellable.
If you guys have not done these, please get with Delaware, Maryland, because you need these.
I will call at Monsters Ball. If you have one on you, I will buy you a round.
So we've been talking about this being we've been talking about this being a family event.
Karen, come here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
No. So we've been talking about this being a family event. Like we're all kind of getting together as a family reunion. I just want to go ahead, Haley, Courtney, come here.
Come on up, guys.
So
Just sit right here for a second, man.
come here, buddy.
Everybody wants to hear that funny comment came from.
So sometimes.
I didn't marry the guy.
So this is us. Like this is what we were doing tonight. Is we are all together, just hanging out, having fun. Even though I know that Brian said he didn't want to be here till 10 o'clock, and I think you're going to lose that tonight. It's already almost 9:30.
I don't know what time it is.
But this is like I'm extremely flattered that that Maryland, Delaware has rolled out kind of a welcome wagon for us tonight.
You got wise words, Ray?
This is what Mad Love really is
Amen.
people coming together, whether we know each other or not, on a personal note, or have never met face to face, and enjoying each other's company. I really do appreciate the hospitality tonight, guys. We are going to kind of start wrapping up because I realize that we're pushing an hour and a half. This is the longest episode we've had. First thing we're going to do is, because I want to leave this for international meeting.
Right.
We talked about a little bit of the bullet points. You guys definitely need to tune in. I've heard bits and pieces so far over the last several weeks about what international meeting is going to be about. And I'm going to tell you now, it is going to be a good one to hear what's going on. So please definitely tune in if you can't be there. And if you can be at Monsters Ball, be at this meeting. It's going to be worth the time.
And you do not have to be a chapter member to be at the meeting. It's an open meeting.
Like all.
Yes.
All meetings,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're in the Mad Viking family, come out to the meeting. You don't have to be an official member of a chapter. You don't have to have an official flag raised. Come out to the meeting.
You could be a couple people that used to be with BV and decided that they wanted to move on and came in and watched the meeting and really liked how things went, and the fact that
I know where that story is.
the ladies are involved in the chapter. So that was 2 years ago. That was like my first thing as international president. So,
and I'm going to just tell you right now, one of those two people that you're talking about will be on the show here very soon.
Cool.
Very cool. So I already know the story. So, because we were involved in the early stages. So
that meant a lot too. That's one of the, like I said, it's one of the first big things that I was able to accomplish as international president, was having a conversation with them and getting them squared away and pointed in the right direction. And the chapter's doing amazing.
Oh, dude,
they were at my host hotel, and I remember having conversations with them cleaning up. Like, they were so amazed at how welcoming the Mad Viking world was. I know who we're talking about. We're being vague intentionally, but that the spouses, the women's involvement, full inclusion, members of the chapter, Mad Vikings always accepted that.
And that's one of the definite things. I'm happy to say that Haley has always been supportive, but she finally joined the club this past year. So she's been trying to, and she kind of keeps me on task with not only with the show, but with keeping up with what's going on in the club and stuff like that. Even though she doesn't talk in chat. But
silent.
So I'm just going to go ahead and pose two questions for Maryland, Delaware, right off the bat. What's next for you guys as a chapter?
I'll take my first statement. Mad Viking Maryland, Delaware will continue to be the trendsetter, the creator, the originator of new things for Maryland, for the Mad Viking world. Scott, you want to jump in on that, and then I'll let Steven jump in too?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. But what it actually literally is next is a talent show that we're throwing in January.
What's the dates on that?
We have picked a date, but I don't know it off the top of my head because I might have had beer tonight.
I was just saying, it would be so awesome if we had like the committee head of that talent show here.
Yeah, you can please. It'd be so.
That's my wife.
Okay.
Just for the record, how political Brian was right there. Just like, I might have had beer tonight. Like, I will neither confirm nor deny.
My phone's there with notes so we could talk about ball because it came up as a topic, and I was not ready for the next step to be.
And that's fine. But this is okay. Like, and then So we got the talent show coming up. So January.
But I think what he's getting at is you want to know like if Monsters Ball is coming here next year.
Well, you know what?
We don't know that yet.
We don't know
We
that
don't
yet.
know because we won't know until the ball. Right?
So
Does our
I know that you guys are very cocky about it because
I
like
was gonna say, does our ego tell you that
oh
coming
no,
here?
so like Brian even said it on the Brian even said it on the
Oh, I know, I heard him.
I
I was like,
Scott's like, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. But
what I said?
oh, we're talking about
that it is.
So coming up for Maryland Delaware,
Vote.
leave it to Steven to be the one to
we have
hold us
our
up.
talent show coming in January. We have our
Gunpowder.
Maryland Special Olympics polar plunge
Mhm.
February 4th, which some of our members are going to go a little above and beyond this year. So please, other chapters, if you're willing to, help out another chapter and help them, reach and exceed their goals for, Special Olympics. Please look out for that. That'll be coming real soon. That'll be February 3rd and 4th. And then Gunpowder and Giving 2023, which is our 5th annual Gunpowder and Giving.
5 years of gunpowder.
Oh, it's so much fun.
5 years. And for people that don't even shoot, Brandon can attest to this.
Yeah.
And just coming to the event and being around people that enjoy shooting guns, which I know that it's not for everybody, it's for, some people, it's not for others. But the level of excitement and joy and, pure adrenaline that you get is amazing from that. That Gunpowder Givings, March 18th, those are 3 months back to back to back. Basically, we're going to have events that Maryland, Delaware hosts that, we pride ourselves in doing every year. We have done Special Olympics polar plunge every year since I've been a member in 2018.
Before we were a chapter.
And actually, before there was a chapter,
Before we raised the flag, Courtney had us doing that event.
Courtney had,
Courtney had us doing it, and then I was like, let's tie this to the to the chapter, and then we have people from PA that come.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure Kentucky, if maybe if they look into their Special Olympics, maybe they can get into a polar plunge because I know it gets cold down there at least for like a week or 2 or 3.
Does it get cold?
Michigan, I know gets real cold.
They jump in.
They did it
They
this year.
do the ice.
They did it this year.
Polar
Michigan did it.
plunge. So that's one of the charities that all chapters can involve themselves in and do something that really is fun for
And your
people.
children can be like our kids did it.
So, we have a lot of stuff coming up in the beginning of the year. We have a little lull in the spring because of, life events with families and kids. Summertime, we pick back up, and then, Monster Ball will run into it. So,
And we already got new things that we're planning on adding to the calendar next year too.
plus we all, as a chapter, we always do it, Thanksgiving and Christmas just for our chapter. So, look out for all of those things. We always, as a chapter, we try to help everybody else's. We look for help from everybody else.
And then with that, we know what's going on with Maryland, Delaware. We obviously aren't going to find out about Monsters Ball, although Brian is extremely confident.
He's not the only one.
He's not the only one. So just so you guys hear this,
Optimistic.
optimistic. Okay.
Not confident.
So they are convinced that it is Monsters Ball is coming here next year to Maryland.
We have presented our information. We have completed the application. We are hoping that the founders will see our value as a chapter and will grant us this honor.
And I already gave Hall and Sealand both a reach around.
Yeah,
There's a Handte.
And Amanda Sealand loves me. I mean, loves to give me shit. I'm sorry, I didn't finish that. To give me
You
shit.
haven't finished the statement. right, guys. With that, you do need to tune in for Monsters Ball so we can see who's going to get it. I personally feel like Indiana's got a good shot.
Absolutely. They're a fantastic chapter. They're great people. We love them. We like them. We respect them. We will beat them.
We will win.
All right. So next weekend is Monsters Ball, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put this out there. We have a lot of cool stuff coming. Just hearing what Maryland Delaware's got going into 2023 is going to be insane. If you guys have a chance to get out here to any of the events that they've got going on, or if you want to help out as a chapter or as an individual, they will be more than happy to help you guys get over and help put everything together and kind of help contribute. So we have Monsters Ball next weekend. Halloween competition is on Friday night. Beard competition starts at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Sure.
Sounds good.
Sure sounds good. The MC here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm MC Friday night. I'm kind of more of a
Observer.
no, I'm definitely not an observer. I have a microphone and I stay busy, but I fill the spaces in between Jay,
you're like
Jays, and I banter back with them. But they're more the guys that.
You like the MC?
Honestly, this is the first time that they have stepped away from Friday night. This is my first time being the main man on stage, and Brandon Barnes is going to be my homie beside me because I said I did not want to do it by myself.
I will definitely.
So Brandon and I had a I don't know if anybody remembers the Two Beards in the Shed.
Yes.
So it was basically Brandon and I in his shed doing a Facebook Live for like 2 hours, to the point that when it started, Brandon was like, you can understand him. By the end of it, I was like, no, he stayed dressed. By the end of it, I was like, Brandon, just let me talk. Just tell me what you want to say, and I'll say it, because you were like, how long have we been doing this? 2 hours. Hey, I think we need to shut it the fuck off.
Well, and just so everybody knows, Scott Handte is going to be doing breakdance during intermission.
I told you I had to ask my
Jason?
Yeah.
Are you going back?
Well, I don't know. I said I just don't.
Taking it back.
I'm afraid I might get hurt.
Taking it back. Oh, you're gonna get hurt.
I definitely can't do the worm anymore.
just
There's
can't
too
get-
much.
All the way injured.
Worm.
Jason.
All I ask is somebody play My Adidas.
I don't know, man. My jam was shit. I just forgot the name of the damn song.
Old age is a bitch.
No, it's marijuana.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember. It's an obscure song.
I was gonna go get.
I'll tell you, they finally got the joke. I appreciate you finally.
I got it. I was gonna take my child.
If I remember it, I'll put the link in the comments.
And now we're.
Thank you for doing this.
This has been phenomenal. So great to be here in person, to do this together as a chapter.
You must have so.
This is part of your honeymoon thing.
It's a belated honeymoon.
Years
Yeah. So we've been married. This is our
Salem and Edgar Allan Poe and Monster Ball and Sleepy Hollow.
yeah.
We're going to.
They're going to. That's their goal.
Sleepy Hollow up in New York. I mean, not New York, but Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Very cool. So we've been married for 13 years this year, and we did this year. We've actually done more traveling than we have in our entire marriage. Because like when we got married we were broke. We got married and then like went back to work the next day. And
Well, I did
We don't have any.
so
10 years later.
so this is our honeymoon. Like we've been talking about going to Sleepy Hollow and Salem for years.
I'm gonna hit Paul Rivers too and look at
And-
the board and watch it.
Yeah, I remember that. I forgot that was one of the points.
And
Look,
so
I set it up.
this
here,
was our
you
opportunity.
bang it out.
This was our opportunity. We're like, we're going to Monsters Ball, and it's like, well, we should just go do something else while we're at it,
Yeah.
So we just took vacation. I was like, we're just going to take this a big honeymoon.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank you guys for being a part of our special trip.
Whoa,
So
honored.
Absolutely honored to have y'all come through.
So should I tell them to watch the group page for an announcement?
We have an
Oh
announcement.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
an announcement, Scott.
Yeah, on the main page there'll be an announcement either later this evening or tomorrow morning.
So
just
if you guys haven't yet, just keep an eye out on the main page.
check out Z page.
Check out the page.
Oh, hey. Oh, I like this guy. Not segue. Z-Page.
That was
All right.
pretty good. Babe.
So like always, guys, I will go ahead and include everybody in on this. I always have the same hashtags at the end. We're going to go ahead and skip the embarrassing moment because we've talked quite about a few of them tonight. So, it's always best to leave things better than how you found them. So if you are in a position to leave things better than how you found it originally, please do so. Because the whole goal is to leave a legacy behind you. That way when somebody else comes in, they can pick up and continue your work. Mad love. And keep moving forward.
Leave a legacy.
Leave a legacy, guys. Have a good night.
What?